I was beginning to get cocky. See, no matter how horrendous, every meat beast had an easy weak point. I was increasingly confident that I could make it home alive, wondering if, perhaps, they had only put the world under some sort of hypnotic spell, because we were simply too powerful, too dangerous for them to defend against. I was beginning to feel like a hero after all. Like I was living in my own video game. This self-important high was cut short on about the 15th level, when the first real wrench was thrown into my hit things with a shovel strategy. The thing blocking my path was not made of meat. Not on the outside, at least. It appeared to be entirely made of iron, rugged and nearly black. A torso, like a department store mannequin, stood atop 3-jointed, knobbly legs, and its single arm terminated in a pair of jagged tongs, periodically clacking shut. The oversized head resembled some sort of huge pot or boiler, with a pair of cartoonish, painted-on eyes. An orange-yellow glow could be seen through its many cracks and vents. I didn't expect there was much shovel could do to this one, and it neither backed off nor approached. It simply stood there, waiting, daring me to make a move. I could see a dense river of meat bodies surging along the path only 3 levels below, making the same slow spiral around the tower as I was. And fragile or not, there was no way I could keep their numbers at bay forever. I wondered if I'd been taken alive. A dozen images flashed through my mind. The eggheads. The things I'd seen here. Things I'd see in PETA propaganda videos. Any one of them could be my fate. Let's just talk about this, Sunny Mom. The voice snapped me back to reality, if you could call this a reality. It had come from in front of me. From the robot cook, or whatever it was. What? It spoke again. It doesn't have to be this way, Missy George. Besides its mangled grasp of pronouns, it spoke English with remarkable clarity. Its voice was soft and feminine, with just a slight metallic quality. I'm sorry? Was all I could manage, still dazed. We can put you right back where you belong, little thing-a-doc. We can fix you up like the rest. You'll never know. I knew exactly what it was talking about. The brainwashing. As far as I knew, I was making first contact with non-human intelligence. And I had a billion questions about what they were doing to us, where they came from, what else was out there in the universe, or multiverse, or whatever we might be living in. Only one thing actually came out, though. Fuck yourselves. It sighed a hollow, metallic sigh, a little smoke escaping from its face vent. It seemed to sink a little at my response. If that's how you want it, whatchamawazzle. It rose threatening on its 3 legs, and I realized what it reminded me of. A barbecue grill. In the blink of an eye, its clawed arm shot out and clamped around the handle to my precious shovel, effortlessly tearing it from my grip and dropping it to the walkway. Fuck. It shot out again, and this time got me by the neck. It slammed me to the ground, taking apparent care not to choke me just yet, but at least cause considerable pain. Its legs clanged noisily as it positioned itself directly over me, and pointed its metal ass directly onto my stomach, pinning me down even tighter. Lines of black grease began to roll down the thing's artificial face, sizzling furiously. I screamed weakly through the creature's grasp when a single, tiny droplet met the exposed skin of my arm. felt like being branded. The monster giggled. Tee! It spoke out the laughter like it was reading from a bad script. If its eyes had been real, it would have been looking directly into mine. And if it had lips, I'm sure they'd be smiling. It bent forward, the grease now cascading in a thick curtain, threatening any moment to start raining in hissing streams onto my exposed face. The claw around my neck tightened, finally pinching shut my airways. It was going to burn my eyes out while it strangled me to death. I let go the thing's arm to shield my face as best I could, wishing I'd had the foresight to be wearing heavier grade gloves as I awaited the torrent of boiling grease. The thing's giggling reaching a fever pitch. Huh? It stopped. The grease didn't come. Removing my hands from my eyes, I saw that the monster's head had turned away from me. You! It shrieked. I couldn't tell what it was looking at until it unexpectedly loosened its grip on my neck and lurched to its feet. I could see small white shapes out of the corner of my eyes. Ew! Gross, gross, gross! It wailed like a child as the rubbery hobgoblin scrambled up its metal body like boneless gecko lizards. It started to stumble about, trying its best to pick off the teeming pests with its single arm, but they slipped through the claw-like jelly. I wasn't sure how long I would be distracted, and I dove for my shovel before teetering painfully to my feet. I could see the swelling legion of meat just one level below. Vile things! Vile! They're in my vents! I was almost too fascinated to act. The hobgoblins had pried the lid off that rusty grill head, exposing an oily, blackened little form underneath. It was too tangled and burnt to make out, but I could see various limbs waving frantically to keep the gremlin things at bay. I raised my shovel, prepared to strike. All at once, the little creatures snapped their heads in my direction and dropped like flies from the metal being, falling to the path and scattering out of sight. The grill face, too, turned towards me. Thank you. You have no idea what... I let out a berserker howl as I brought down the shovel squarely on that black, twitching body, splatting it with a wet crunch and a deafening bang against the white-hot grill it rested upon. The metal construct stood still and silent for several agonizing moments, before it finally began to pitch backward, creaking like a rusty door before banging to the ground, dead or asleep or whatever the fuck I just did. I prodded it a few times before cautiously stepping around it and continuing up. Something didn't want me to reach the top, and I felt pretty good about it.